I kind of skirt the two theories, and I think they both are valid. I think there are indigenous, hairy hominids that live on Earth. I think that there are flesh and blood beings, specifically in the Pacific Northwest and that area up there, down in Florida and around the Gulf and such. I think there are pods or groups or actual families that do exist. And but I do believe that for the most part, the Sasquatch phenomena is of a interdimensional being, just like I do think of a lot of other cryptids, or most cryptids. I think they're I think what people see are something that makes itself known or seen or manifest onto our earth plane, but has the ability to move off. And the reason I say that is I have talked to so many people over the years, even what's been going on in Chicago, where people would see this being and suddenly it would disappear, and vice versa. Then it was something would suddenly manifest very near them and just show up. And I have instances of that happening with Bigfoot, cryptid canines, winged humanoids, a whole lot of things.
See, I've kind of wondered too if a lot of these things could all theoretically be the same type of being, but rather it's just an idea that it projects a certain image on you. Like you kind of have the idea with like Sasquatch that they just instantly disappear. It may not be that they actually are disappearing, but they could
Cloaking.
just be projecting, projecting like the thought that they're not there and you can't see them. And I mean, even kind of bringing it back to how like lights are usually seen a lot around a lot of different cryptids. I often wonder if possibly the lights could be the base of these things, or maybe that's the being itself, or that's how they theoretically travel interdimensionally, and then they pick a form once they're actually here, but maybe they're actually able to manipulate their form, or maybe, again, it's just projecting a form onto you based on what they're trying to do at the time, and how they want to scare you away from them, or if they want to draw you in to kind of see what's going on with them.
Well, there has been a phenomena that's kind of been more prevalent the past decade or so. We call it the glimmer man effect. And me and a couple other gentlemen are talking about actually writing a book about it because we've been getting a lot of these sightings. But all in all, the glimmer man effect is something that people describe as, and if you're familiar with the Predator movies, where the alien in the Predator movie just seems to have this glimmer man camouflage that, you see the outline, but you see this kind of wavy thing. And we've been getting a lot of sightings of that. I think there's a good possibility that this may be some type of cloaking device or cloaking abilities that these, particularly Bigfoot, do have. I have had some pictures of this effect people have taken in areas where there's heavy Bigfoot activity. And in fact, I did see I did have a photograph of that was taken in Ohio of a kind of a half manifested Bigfoot, and on the other half of it, it was kind of this glimmer effect. So I think it's a possibility, though. It's going to take a lot more research. But I'm starting to lean toward that this may be some type of cloaking abilities that they use. Now, what it is, I don't know. The people who wrote, and I've looked into this. I've even talked to the people who actually wrote the screenplay for the Predator movies, and they were kind of tight-lipped about it. I asked if maybe how they get the concept of that for the movie or for the screenplay, and they weren't saying much at all. So did one of those guys experience something like that and then write it into a script? I don't know. I just don't know. But it's interesting. And the fact that people are reporting it, and more as time has gone on, uh, maybe there is some connection there.
I mean, at least for the movie, that could have been one of those like soft disclosure kind of concepts,
Yeah.
because it seems like there's a lot of stuff that comes out in movies. Like Harry and the Hendersons is a perfect example. that Hollywood kind of takes over the main narrative of it. So then if anybody reports these types of things, the best association people have is with a movie. So, people that dig into like weird phenomenon, we're going to listen to it, of course, but the average person is just going to go, oh, that reminds me of Predator, or oh, that reminds me of this movie. So then it's like, it kind of like hides the topic within it. And maybe that's why a lot of these guys are kind of tight lipped about it, is because maybe they were just kind of simply told, like, hey, I need you to include this in the movie. And maybe they didn't really get any kind of background for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was something simply that they purposely fell across on the internet, or not back when they're writing Predator, for example, but just something that kind of got like slipped across their desk, and they were just kind of like, oh, where did this come from? This is a great idea, we should include this in the movie. And it's just close soft disclosure here and there to just to tear away from the actual topic